Hello, welcome to Swanberry Education. My name is Mr. Joshua, and to those of you watching from Canada and those of you already in Canada, I say Happy Thanksgiving Day to you all. So today we are going to be talking about students, how to ensure that your study visa is not rejected. So we are going to be covering major reasons why student visas are rejected and how to avoid them. We are also going to be reviewing some GCMS notes and possible way to go about it. So if you are just joining, welcome. Just let us know. I say once again, welcome to the Canada Study Masterclass, the crack the code. Just let us know where you are watching from. You can drop it in the comments section. And if you have any questions or you want us to answer any of your questions, don't feel free to let us know in the comment section below. We would definitely be answering all your questions. Just drop your questions and we will answer them. So once again, I say welcome. Just let us know the city where you are watching from. Just leave a comment in the comments below. All right. All right, welcome back. So we are going to go straight into the business of the day. We are going to talk about major reasons why visas are rejected. We are going to look at some major reasons and we are going to review some GCMS notes and then we'll talk on possible ways to go about it. Now, if you are watching me, just let us know where you are watching from, and from there, we'll take it up from there. So now, the very first reason why visa is Canada study visa is rejected. In fact, the major reason is finances. Finances can come in various forms. It can be you did not explain your finances well. It can be you did a lump sum. It can come in any angle. It can come in any angle. You understand? So that being said, let's go straight to the point. I know nobody wants to be rejected a visa. It is, in fact, actually very, very, very hard when you see people. It's hard when you get rejected, when your visa gets rejected. If it ever happens that your Canada study visa has been rejected, the very first thing you should do is apply for a GCMS note. Now, what is a GCMS note? A GCMS note is is a consular note. I think it's General Case Management System or thereabouts. Is a consular note whereby all the actions and all the steps that was taken in your application, what the officer noticed, the reason why your visa was approved or the reason why your visa was rejected, it is stated on the GCMS note. Now, to apply for the GCMS note, the first thing you should do is use what they call the ATIP. The the Access to Privacy Information Act, which is the ATIP. You should use that particular act to ensure that you apply for your GCMS note. If you want to know how to use the ATIP to apply for your GCMS notes, I have dropped link in the comment section in the description box. I have done a video on how to go about applying using the GCMS, using the ATIP, that is the Access to Privacy Information. Now, let's go over and let's review some of these GCMS notes, and let's talk on the major reasons why Canada study visas are being rejected. So the very first reason why Canada study visa may be rejected, it has to do with, in fact, the major reason, it has to do with finances. Then the next reason, it has to do with your letter of explanation. The consular officer probably did not understand what you are planning for, what are your plans, what you want to do in Canada. The another possible reason would be home ties. So we are going to look at some case, and we are going to read it, and we are going to go over them, and at the end of the day we shall profile an alternative and a possible solution. Earlier this year, the government of Canada announced that they will be limiting the number of students that they will allow into the country. And this, compared to 2023, the number of study permits that will be approved in 2024 was reduced. Now, they also announced that from November 1, a further 10% or thereabouts, it will also be reduced by a further 10%. And initially, masters, they were exempted from attestation letter. But right now, going forward from, I think, November 1st or thereabouts, master students, they will now need to provide attestation letter. Then another major policy change is that not all courses are eligible for a postgraduate work permit. So now that they're trying to make things tighter, it becomes survival of the fittest, only the strong survive. However, it's not supposed to be a rocket science. If you do your documentation right, your chances of securing a visa is quite high. Now, previously, what they may have overlooked, if you do that right now, it will not be overlooked. So, that being said, let's quickly dive and check one or two GCMS notes. Now, for this particular student, the consular officer said, limited supporting documentation substantiating the relationship between applicant and sponsor submitted. I noted that they do not share a family name. In addition, family information provided is not sufficiently supported with evidence of source of income from the bank statement balance on file. Sponsor is the owner of this company. However, deposits shown in the transaction history are not any deposits from the stated corporation. Limited evidence provided showing how sponsor came to accumulate large savings in personal accounts. Based on the documentation on file and the limited information demonstrating nature of relationship between applicant and sponsor, and insufficient evidence of source of funds, I have signs that third-party funds will be sufficient and available for the proposed studies. Evidence on file does not adequately establish applicants' access to adequate funds to support the proposed cost of study in Canada and associated expenses. Based on financial documents submitted, I am not satisfied that the applicant has sufficient funds to pay for living expenses for the proposed study. Weighing the factors of this in this application, I am not satisfied that the applicant will depart Canada at the end of the period authorized of their stay. Okay, so now, what is wrong with this particular documentation? You find that the applicants, first of all, the sponsor and the applicants, they are not sharing the same family name. So he's using a third party as the sponsor. Now, the consular officer has concern that, okay, fine, since there is no you don't have any direct relationship with this person, it is highly and very possible that this person can withdraw his sponsorship. And if the person eventually withdraws his sponsorship, you discover that this particular person, you don't have enough money to sponsor or to finance your education. So because of that, he is not satisfied that this particular student will leave Canada at the end of the proposed study. So therefore, he's refusing this student a study visa. Now, you will notice that there are some things that was mentioned particularly here, like direct relationship. Now, I would say, and I would advise, based on experience, my own personal experience, I may be wrong, okay? It is advisable when you are asking somebody to sponsor you, when you are looking for a sponsor that will sponsor your education or sponsor you in Canada, it is actually very advisable that you use a direct family member, only a direct family member. Now, you may want to say, okay, I'm using this is my uncle, this is my auntie, he has so and so business. Yes, you are bringing that. You should understand that there is difference between a personal account and a company account. Now, let me explain further. In business, or in the business is seen as a person of its own. That is why in some form of business like limited liability, if the company was to go bankrupt, the owners, they will only lose their liabilities, they will only lose their assets, that's company assets, but their personal assets will not be taken. So if you must use a company account, you have to prove, is this fund available to me? See, it's not about money being in accounts. There are a lot of things they take into consideration. In fact, I tell most of my students that just use a personal account instead of a company account. Then, anybody that is sponsoring you, it should be a direct family member, not uncle, auntie, or thereabout. It should be a direct family member. Now, if you notice, in the account, the records did not match. You claimed that you were working for a particular company, and there were so many other frequent deposits that was coming in without being explained. Now, let me explain how the little you have seen in Canada, let's say, for example, you are a worker and you earn, let's say, $20 per hour, and your company pays you. In fact, it is highly very possible that that is the only source of income you will have. And you should know that this is how these people they grew up. You understand? The people that are going to access your documents, most of them are Canadians, or at least of Canadian, or they've stayed in Canada. They know how the system and operates and work. Now, this is his own personal philosophy. This is the way he sees things. They don't understand our system whereby you can get money from multiple sources. If you have money from multiple sources, let it be traceable, let it be explainable. In fact, if you want to, if you dedicate an account that this account you want to use it for proof of funds, you mind what goes in and what comes out. You understand? You just be intentional about your proof of funds, because these people, they are going to assess you. They are going to look like, one, is this person trying to inflate, is he trying to inflate this his bank statement so that we will think that he has money. They will look at that. Then they will also look at how, okay, if somebody is sponsoring you, they will look at the relationship. So let's look at another case study where another GCMS note. Remember, if you want to order a GCMS note, instead of paying a lot of money, I have done a free video and it's in the link. Just look for it. It's in the link on our YouTube page. I've done a video. Just use it. Use the Access to Privacy and Information Act and use it to get your GCMS note. So let's look at another case. Now, let's read. This is a GCMS note of somebody. Okay. Now he said, I have considered the following factors in my decision. Proof of partial tuition payment to DLI noted. Applicant's spouse is the financial sponsor. Marriage certificate noted. Applicant bank statement with lump sum deposit. Funds transferred by spouse after sales of land. Sale deed on file. Pre-existing balance in the account, spouse bank statement and corporate account. Also, provided lump sum deposit noted in the spouse personal account. Limited evidence pertaining to the source of funds. Business registration on file. However, the spouse is not the sole proprietor of the business. No documentation was provided to demonstrate that the other shareholders of the company are willing to sponsor the applicant. Based on the documentation on file and the limited information demonstrating the source and availability of funds, I have concerns that funds would be sufficient and available for the proposed study. Therefore, I'm not satisfied that the applicant has sufficient and available financial resources to pay the tuition fees for the program of study that they intend to pursue and to pay for living expenses in Canada. Weighing on the factor in this application, I'm not satisfied that the applicant will depart Canada at the end of the period authorized for their stay. Now, you understand that, okay, this particular one, they went as far as proving and showing all the details, all the, they proved the lump sum that they sold the land and they acknowledged it. They proved, in fact, they did a wonderful job proving everything. But the only part they made a mistake was, now you are saying you are being sponsored by a company account. And this company account, the person that is sponsoring you is a shareholder without and has other shareholders that is attached to this particular business. Now you didn't provide the approval of the other business partners, and not just providing the approval. Why would the company want to sponsor like your spouse? Why would they want to sponsor your spouse? Of what economic value is it to the company? So the earlier you start taking these things as when you are trying to apply for a visa, understand that what you are trying to prove is it logical? Weighing the balance of probability, is it logical? Now, for example, what they normally say at the end of each GCMS note, you look at it, they say, weighing the factors in this application, I am not satisfied that the applicant will depart Canada. So now you should understand what they are trained to is to it's called they are trained to assess documents on the balance of probability. That is, okay, based on these documents you have provided, these are the situation that this document says about your financial situation. These are the information that this document is telling us about you. Based on that, I am satisfied and I will issue you the visa, or I am not satisfied and the visa will not be issued. So you need to ask yourself, like, okay, have I clearly explained all the nitty-gritty of my application? And in as much as you want to put a lot of documents, when you are putting documents, write a written explanation, because the way things is obtainable in Canada is not the way things is obtainable back home. Yes, you can put let's say a long title deed, and at the end of the day they will still tell you that they did not see you did not put evidence of how you got the money. So when you put a contract of sale, you back it up with a receipt, you explain, if possible, just a side caption or a note at the top, like this particular thing, this is the reason why I'm putting this document, and this is the purpose. You can even go as far as saying, okay, I sold my land for 50 million naira. This is the receipt, and this money, you can see it was deposited in my statement of account on so and so day. This is the proof of this lump sum. You understand? Something like that. Then another thing, you should understand that when you are trying to prove your funds, you should be very, very intentional about it. When I mean very intentional. In fact, if spend more time explaining your proof of funds. Spend more time explaining it. Make sure that, okay, this thing I'm saying, is it logical? And mind you, most of these things, especially things like your CAC document, they can verify it. It's verifiable. If you go to CAC public search and you input details, it will pop out the name of your company, when was it registered. If you probe down, you can even find the name of the directors. These things are very, very searchable. So whatever you do, make sure that, okay, if peradventure they want to check about it, can they find it? So let's check another GCMS note. Okay, so you see, most of these GCMS, like I said, most are financial related. So now let's look at this particular one. It says the applicant's assets and financial situation are insufficient to support the stated purpose for the applicant and any accompanying family member, if applicable. I note the financial document provided by the applicant is of poor quality and difficult, especially difficult to see. The available balance, but it seems to be over 30 million naira. Multiple lump sum deposits into the account. Applicant has provided invoices as source fund, but this invoice does not align with the funds available in the account. Additionally, the applicant claimed to have received a gift of 10 million in their bank. However, no documentation has been provided of the brother's proof of employment or relationship or payslip. Taking the applicant's plans or studies into part, the documentation or lack thereof to support of the applicant's financial situation does not demonstrate that the funds will be available for tuition, living expenses, and travel. Then, weighing these factors in this application, I am not satisfied that the applicant will depart at the end of the authorized period authorized for their stay. For this above reason, I have refused this application. Now, you see, the applicant, in this particular case, what happened? The applicant provided documents. Now, let me quickly digress a little. If you've ever filled this form, if you go to our YouTube page, if you check, we have videos on how to use GC key to fill this form, to fill visa form, the student permit form. We also have videos on how to use the new IRCC portal to fill visa form. Then, like I said earlier, on this particular video, on the description, we have links to show you how to apply for GCMS note for free. Now, if you've ever used any of these application sites to apply, you discover that you are only given 4 megabytes if you are using a GC key to upload all your supporting documents with regards to that particular field. That is, letter of acceptance, it must not be more than 4 MB using the GC key. All your proof of finances, it must not be more than 4 MB using GC key. And it same apply with your client information, which is where you upload your letter of explanation and all those stuffs. It should not be more than 4 MB. And you see, you have volume of documents under that particular category to upload. So you resort and you resolve to compressing documents. Now, the issue with compressing documents is, in fact, it is almost impossible to apply without compressing documents. So, but when you want to compress document, make sure when you compress, it is still clear enough. One particular file you should not compromise the quality on is your bank statement. Now, most times when you go to the bank and you print your bank statements, especially if you are the type that do a lot of transactions, you find out that you have so much volume, and by the time you scan them and compress them, it is very difficult to get it under 4 MB and still be clear when you add other documents to it. So what you should do in that case is, I recommend two possible solutions. Solution number 1, ask your bank to send your statement to the Canada embassy using MyBankStatement. They will give you a slip. They will give you a slip. So that slip, you attach it. The slip has a code. So when the consular officer check that slip, your bank statement will automatically pop out and he will be able to see everything clearly. That's one. Secondly, most banks, most commercial banks, they offer e-bank statement that is signed. The thing I've noticed about those e-bank statement that is signed, no matter the volume, no matter how large it is, when it comes, it usually comes very, very it comes very, very, the size is not that high. So the size it's not that high, so it comes very, very low. So you can use that. Most of them, when they can come password protected. You can go to sites like any of all these PDF sites online and put the codes, unlock the PDF. Once you unlock the PDF, you find out that okay, yes, that's for those ones, those bank statement that comes with code. Once you unlock it, you still discover that you still have ample space to add other documents. Then any document that is not relevant, you don't need to put it. Any document that is not relevant, you don't need to put it. Only put documents that support your case. It's not about writing invoice. It's not about bringing invoice. How does this invoice align to your bank statement? Assess the bank statement. Check the bank statement. Okay, if I am saying that I got I sold a property, or I sold my goods in my shop, okay, for 10 million on the 15th of May, and you are bringing an invoice of, let's say, 8 million on the 2nd of February, it doesn't align. So you see this particular case, one, the document wasn't clear. Secondly, what they provided it did not align perfectly with the document provided did not align. Then it wasn't clear. The document provided, the invoices, it did not align with the account statement. Then lastly, he did a deed of gift. See, if anybody is sponsoring you, whether your father, your mother, your brother, or whoever is sponsoring you, which I will always tell you, limit your sponsorship to your direct family members. Now, you must prove the person's source of income. You must prove relationship. Very important. How do you prove the source of income? If the person is sponsoring you is a businessman, put the registration certificate. In Nigeria, is CAC. I don't know what it is in other parts of West Africa. In Nigeria, it's the CAC. And you put that registration certificate there. Then you put all the necessary documents to back up that particular to show that person is a businessman. If possible, if you have some MOUs, like some memorandum of understanding, some business transaction, and most importantly, if you have the tax clearance put, because these guys, they believe more on government issued documents. They believe more on such documents. It carries more weight. It carries more weight to prove your cause and to prove your case. You understand? So that is why this particular visa was rejected. So let's quickly look at another possible solution, another case. So if you notice now, for these first three that we have talked about, it boils down to finance. Yes, there were money in the account, but yet this money was still rejected because they did not do proper documentation. So before we proceed, I would like you to know how to calculate money that you need. It is very, very important. Now, it is not just enough to have what they call it, just calculate and put any money there. You have to be very intentional. Canada is all about being intentional. Now, let's say you are going to a school, let's say like the International Business University, for example, and you're going for a master's in business administration, MBA. Now, let's say the institution is 17,250 and it's a 2-year program. First of all, you have to calculate for 1 year which is your 17,250, and let's say you are asked to pay like 9,000. So paying 9,000, it means that you have like 8,000 thereabouts to pay. So you will show that you have that 8,000 plus, and you show that you have living expenses for 1 year. If you are being sponsored by maybe your father or your parents, that 1 year sponsorship, that 1 year, once you have shown the evidence that you have it either in your account or in the sponsor's account, any of them is fine. Personal account, it's far better. After you show that, then you show that that person's business that is sponsoring you is viable. He earns over that amount yearly so that he can continue to sponsor you. Then you must ensure that the relationship between you and that person is direct, because if that person is not your sibling or your parents, he can just say, after all, you've gotten to Canada, there is no point I should sponsor you again, so therefore I'm not paying for your second year school fees. That is in their own eyes, you understand? So that being said, make sure it's a direct relationship. So to continue that calculation, you do the math. Once you do that, add like if it's $2,000 or $3,000 extra, and you say that is for your return flight tickets, because they don't want you to come to their country and become a burden to anybody. That is not what they want. No, they want you to be to study and pay with your own money, not the government's money. So let's look at another one before we plan to round up this session for today. Now, this particular one has to do with the origin of funds. Okay, so let's quickly read this case. It said the applicant's assets and financial situation are insufficient to support the stated purpose of travel for the applicant and any accompanying family member, if applicable. Primary sponsorship by principal applicant's spouse. Tuition payment receipt of 1,400 Canadian dollars noted. Financial documents from spouse noted. Reviewing their fidelity bank statement. Account balance reports a fund of XYZ. Additional mutual funds investments show current value of XYZ. However, there is insufficient detailed information and documentation to clearly establish the provenance of the funds presented. Furthermore, spouse banking transaction history shows periodic fluctuation in the account by multiple lump sum deposits, while they have stated the funds were from an accumulation of their business engagement, profits, training, rental earnings. The constant variation in bank balance does not demonstrate to me that their bank account will have a consistent inflow of stable funds available. Taking the applicant's plan to study, the documentation provided in support of the applicant's financial situation does not demonstrate that funds would be sufficient or available. I am not satisfied that the applicant has sufficient available financial resource to pay for the tuition fees and the program stated they intend to pursue and to pay living expenses while in Canada. So weighing on these factors of this application, I am not satisfied that the applicants will depart Canada at the end of the period authorized of their stay. For this reason above, I refuse the application. Okay, so now that being said, they did not show the origin of their funds. In as much as they provided all the documentation, they did not show the origin. and they made one mistake. They do large deposit, large withdrawal. I have seen people tell me that, is it not turnover they want? Is it not money going and money come out that they want to see? They want to see that you have money. So you put in large amount, withdraw the money, and you just be round tripping it. And at the end of the day, they will not what they call it. They will not approve that particular study permit. There's a popular saying in pidgin English: "I get before, not be property." You understand? So you putting and showing them that yes, 1 billion has passed through my account, but what is the average monthly balance? It is all about, that is what they look. Okay, let's say for example, you want to you are looking for, you are going to pay for a school that will cost you an average of, let's say, $40,000 to $70,000 for your entire duration. And yes, you have that money, but the money comes in and goes out and comes in and goes out. It's not stable. So what would make them believe that, okay, since this money is not stable, that is, the money is not available, probably you are just round tripping it. That is one error that was available, that was that's what they call it, that was evidence in this particular case. So try and avoid this kind of error. So let's review one more case, and that will be it for today. All right, let's look at this particular case. I have considered the following factors in my decision. The applicant's assets and financial situation are insufficient to support the stated purpose of travel. For the applicant and any accompanying family member, if applicable, applicant has provided bank statement from mother. Mother states that the business has been running for X amount of years, but CAC documents indicate that the business was only registered recently. Okay, but no certificate, no certificate of tax clearance, nor financial statements to give evidence of company viability, no bank statement from business to justify inflow into personal account. Applicant's mother stated that lump sum of that received from closure proceeds. No documentation provided to substantiate the bank. No documentation to provide to substantiate inflow to bank account built up from September 2023 to November 2023. Low or moderate balance before that. In the absence of satisfactory documentation showing the source of funds, I am not satisfied that the applicant has sufficient funds for intended international education. The applicant's current employment situation does not show that they are financially established in their country. So you see, it all still boils down to finances again. You see, the major reason why people get refused for study visas is financial related. Now, this particular person is claiming that you registered a company. Yes, in Nigeria it's very, very possible. In fact, we can do business in Nigeria for years, and it's only when we need to apply for whatever we want to use them, then we quickly rush to go and do CAC. If it is within Nigeria, it is acceptable, it is okay, you can use it. But when you are doing international trip, they believe on government issued document. So the way it operates in Canada, if I want to register a business now, I cannot be operating before I get my license. It doesn't. It is not obtainable. That's not the way it's run in this country. You get your business license first before you now apply for your visa. So, um, sorry, you get your business documents first before you apply for your before you apply for your business, before you do your business. So if you are claiming and telling them that you have been doing business, my mother has been selling since before I was born, but you just duly registered the CAC, and you are showing that, then it doesn't fly with them. However, for such case, if you can get government issued letters, like maybe letter from local government and all those other things to prove that, okay, that your mother has been doing business for so and so time, that might even help your case, you understand. However, I would not advise you to use a business that is not registered or to make your application. So if you must use a business as a proof of finances or as a proof of source of income, then it must be something that is registered and has been registered for long. So that would be it. That's all we are reviewing for today in terms of the GCMS note. Subsequently, we'll review other cases like I think tomorrow we'll review other cases, but we won't review financial case. I know financial case has to do with the bulk reasons why visas are rejected. So tomorrow we will be seeing other reasons why study visa can be rejected. So if you have any question, drop your questions in the chat. So thank you for staying tuned and staying on to this time. If you notice, the major reason why study visas are rejected has to do with finances. In fact, finances. Either you have the money, you did not explain it well. You explained it well, you did not put the necessary documentation to back explanation. You've seen, we've reviewed like five cases, 5 GCMS notes, and you discover that finance is like a recurring decimal. And right now, it is even more and more critical because they pay attention to every kind of details. They look at everything holistically because they are trying to filter the number of persons that will come into Canada. That is why we are advocating that if you can find a way to sort out these financial issues, then it will be a really, really good leverage for you. So that is why we brought out solution like the passage loan, the prodigy loan, the finance loan. In fact, the apply board. Once we work with different partners. We are a premium partner with apply boards, thereby all our we have access to over 1,700 schools in Canada, Australia, UK, USA, and Ireland. We concentrate mainly on Canada, UK, USA. That is at Swanberry Educational Services. And yes, it's not all the schools that you will use loan for. Like I mentioned, if you don't want to use the loan option, we have good schools. We have good schools that you can do your masters. In fact, we have schools like International Business University, whereby you can do masters at a very affordable rate. The student loan does not apply there. Let's say you have your money to make your payments for your tuitions, and you have your proof of funds to show, They have good courses. Their courses are aligned. In fact, if you want to apply to that particular school, we dropped our apply board link on this on the description on our YouTube page. Just click it and continue, or you contact us. You contact us. A QR code will show on your screen right now. You can scan the QR. You can scan the QR code. You can scan the QR code, and you see our contact details. Then if you have any questions, just drop your questions in the chat box, and I will explain for you. I will explain better for you. Then apart from that, we also have the student loan. We have the passage student loan, whereby you'll be giving both your tuition and your living expenses. There is a link on our YouTube channel on this particular video. You click the link, and yes, you apply to passage, and it will be tagged to us. The benefits of you applying through our link is that we'll give you personalized support, and we'll ensure that, okay, we follow you through all the process. Now, we have a wealth of experience to ensure that, okay, what you are looking for, it's easy and you get it. It will make the whole process seamless for you. Now, let me just talk a little more about the passage loan and our other services. The thing is, to be honest, studying abroad is no longer business as usual. If you have plan of studying and probably you want to integrate into the society easily, it's better you do an in-demand course. There are labor shortages in Canada in the healthcare sector, in the STEM sector, that is the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or thereabout sector. There is labor shortage in the construction sector. They are building houses, a lot of houses. They need carpenters, skilled trades. There is labor shortage. And they believe, like I said before, when you're trying to open a business in Canada, you have to get licensed first before you operate. So they believe anything you want to do, you have to get the license. And one of the criteria of getting any license in any field is the education. If you want to do personal support worker, you have to train for it. It could be 8 months, it could be 4 months, but on a more practical note, 8 months. That is 1 academic year. So you have to. So that is why we have streamlined the programs that we do and the programs that we work with. They are only in-demand programs. Only in-demand programs. You understand? Only in-demand program. So reach out to us. Our what they call it? Our contact details are on the screen and also on the description box. You understand? So I will see you tomorrow, whereby I will still talk about how to avoid being rejected, but this time we'll be reviewing cases, but these cases will not be financial cases. We'll be reviewing other cases. We'll be reviewing GCMS notes of other cases whereby they rejected people for the flimsiest reason. I won't call it flimsy, but when you see the reasons, you smile. You understand? Some reasons are funny, but the reason why I'm bringing this to you is that you should avoid them in your next application. That is why I'm bringing this to you. I'm taking my time. I go to places where we can get all these GCMS notes, depersonalize them, and public chat forums, depersonalize them, analyze them, and I bring them to you to explain what you should avoid, because that's how we grow in this industry. You apply. If you have success, even if your visa was approved, apply for a GCMS note. Know what you did right. If your visa was refused, apply for a GCMS note. Know what you didn't do right, so that subsequently you would advise, when you're advising a family member or a friend, then you can always know how to go about it. Then, to support us, to support us, subscribe, share this link to your friends and family, and for now we will be going live daily, Monday to Friday, to explain to you difficult concepts. And if peradventure you want us to talk on anything at all, just email us. Just email us. Our email is admissions@swanberrygroup.com. It's displaying on your screen right now. Email us and tell us what you want us to discuss about, and we will definitely throw more light on it. Thank you very much. Till I come your way next tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Bye.